مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا.
الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وآل بيته ومن اتبع سنته أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Alhamdulillah, by the fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, today we will continue with the Surah Al-Imraan, which is the sequence of revelation is 89 surah, and in the sequence of recitation is third number surah. We had finished up to 151 verses, and inshallah we will complete most likely today. But there are a lot of details in this because of the time it was revealed. A lot of issues were going on. So let's begin with verse number 52. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
وَلَقَدْ صَدَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ إِذْ تَحُسُّونَهُم بِإِذْنِهِ حَتَّى إِذَا فَشِلْتُمْ وَتَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ وَعَصَيْتُم مِّن بَعْدِ مَا أَرَاكُم مَّا تُحِبُّونَ مِنكُم مَّن يُرِيدُ الدُّنْيَا وَمِنكُم مَّن يُرِيدُ الْآخِرَةَ ثُمَّ صَرَفَكُمْ عَنْهُمْ لِيَبْتَلِيَكُمْ وَلَقَدْ عَفَا عَنكُمْ وَاللَّهُ ذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ.
Allah has surely fulfilled his promise to you when you, with his will, were killing them off, until you showed weakness and disputed in the matter and disobeyed after he had shown you what you liked. Among you there were some who were seeking the mundane, and among you there were others who were seeking the hereafter. After that, he reversed your position against them, so that he may test you. Of course, he has forgiven you. Allah is all gracious to the believers.
إِذْ تُصْعِدُونَ وَلَا تَلْوُونَ عَلَىٰ أَحَدٍ وَالرَّسُولُ يَدْعُوكُمْ فِي أُخْرَاكُمْ فَأَثَابَكُمْ غَمًّا بِغَمٍّ لكي لا تحزنوا على ما فاتكم ولا ما أصابكم والله خبير بما تعملون.
When you were going away, not even turning to look at anyone, and the messenger was calling you from behind you, he awarded you sorrow for sorrow, so that you should not grieve in future over what you lost, or for what you suffered. Allah is all aware of what you do.
ثُمَّ أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكُم مِّن بَعْدِ الْغَمِّ أَمَنَةً نُّعَاسًا يَغْشَىٰ طَائِفَةً مِّنكُمْ وَطَائِفَةٌ قَدْ أَهَمَّتْهُمْ أَنفُسُهُمْ يَظُنُّونَ بِاللَّهِ غَيْرَ الْحَقِّ ظَنَّ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ يَقُولُونَ هَل لَّنَا مِنَ الْأَمْرِ مِن شَيْءٍ قُلْ إِنَّ الْأَمْرَ كُلَّهُ لِلَّهِ يُخْفُونَ فِي أَنفُسِهِم مَّا لَا يُبْدُونَ لَكَ يَقُولُونَ لَوْ كَانَ لَنَا مِنَ الْأَمْرِ شَيْءٌ مَّا قُتِلْنَا هَاهُنَا قُل لَّوْ كُنتُمْ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ لَبَرَزَ الَّذِينَ كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقَتْلُ إِلَىٰ مَضَاجِعِهِمْ وَلِيَبْتَلِيَ اللَّهُ مَا فِي صُدُورِكُمْ وَلِيُمَحِّصَ مَا فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ وَاللَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ.
Then, after the grief, he poured tranquility upon you, a drowsiness overtaking a group of you. Another group was worrying about their own selves, harboring thoughts about Allah that were untrue, thoughts of ignorance. They were saying, "Is there anything in our hands?" Say, the whole thing belongs to Allah. They conceal in their hearts what they do not disclose to you. They say, "If we had any say in the matter, we would not have been killed here." Say, if you were in your homes, those destined to be killed would have come out all the way to their final resting places. All this was done so that Allah may test your inequalities and may purify what is in your hearts. Allah is all aware of what lies in the hearts.
So verse number 51 to 54, I didn't interrupt because it is the same sequence of event going on as we started from last time. We ended with the Surah the Battle of Uhud in the Surah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse number 52, as we started now, says, وَلَقَدْ صَدَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ وَعَدَهُ. And then truly Allah fulfilled His promise with you. And then when you were busy with fighting and killing the enemies of Allah, حَتَّى إِذَا فَشَلْتُمْ تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. So then whatever you have dispute, Allah has settled it. This is the tanazi'atun fil amr. The background of the understanding is that Prophet ﷺ in the Battle of Badr, he was very great strategist, as being told today by the generals of the army or military expedition, whatever they do. That his plan was that, as I mentioned last time, that Muslims were in here and there was a little mountain here, and then behind them was a battle mountain of Uhud, but there was an area coming around on the back and they could come from there. So Prophet ﷺ appointed a companion, Abdullah was the leader, and he was made leader for the 50 archers in that position on the other side of the hill, so that nobody would come from behind as Muslims are in the front fighting. So accordingly, what is described is that when the Muslim attacked, the enemy ran back. As they rushed and dropped their belonging and they ran back, instead of chasing them, some start chasing them and some start looting the dropped whatever item was there. They thought that enemy has ran away, so it's no more need to be ready for fight. So as the main group of Muslims were about to collect the booty, the one who was the archer, Prophet had told them, your back is towards us and you are not going to stop whatever, just do not abandon your position. And they did abandon their position, because right next to that, on the other side, Khalid bin Walid was waiting with a group of archers with him. So when they abandoned their position and the leader keep calling them that do not abandon your position, Prophet said that even if you see the vultures are eating our flesh, do not abandon your position. They disobeyed Prophet. So what happened is, when they left this position, the few who were archers who stayed, Khalid bin Walid attacked with this platoon or whatever he had, the group of people, and they killed them. And then they came from the behind. So as they attacked from the behind and the front, the enemy, when they saw that the Muslims are sandwiched, they came back. So it was basically fight between that situation, and that was disobedient to Prophet. And Muslims actually not lost the battle, they actually had won the battle, but they had a situation where they were wounded. Why? The few scholars described in the war, when there was people to be killed, to be beheaded, and to be doing taking the booty, they didn't take anything from Muslim. In Badr, there were 70 of the infidels were killed. In this one, 70 Muslim was martyred, but 22 of the people of Quraysh was killed also. And this was, they were fighting for restoring the honor of Quraysh, which was very badly humiliated in the last battle. So after the killing of the Muslim, they left. They thought that they have just gotten even, but they didn't attack to the Medina. That could have been the place of invasion. It could have been destroying the family, because there was nobody to defend Medina, which is right next to that. And they did not take anything from Muslims. They didn't take any belonging, any other thing. They just humiliated them. And Prophet's uncle Hamza radiallahu anhu was martyred in it, and who was being Wahshi was their name, and this is the man who was prepared to by the Hinda, the wife of Abu Sufyan, whose father and brother were killed in the last battle by Hamza radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was the uncle of Prophet, and he was his age. They both were born of his mother, and his uncle's wife or mother was the wife of his grandfather. So he became uncle, basically. of the Prophet, and he loved Prophet, and Prophet loved him very much. And he was the one who was the target in this battle by Wahshi, who was a spear thrower, and he was looking for position and situation. So he attacked Hamza. Hamza got a spear right here in the middle of his abdomen, and then his body organ got ruptured, and he died on the spot. And Hinda, what she did was she mutilated his body. She actually captured his body and cut his nose, his ears, took out eyes, and cut his liver out and chew on his liver. That is forbidden in Islam, but she did it out of the revenge. And Wahshi was promised that you will be freed and you will be given silk and certain wealth and whatnot. And Wahshi later on became Muslim. And he paid back by this sin by killing Musaylima Kazab in the battle, where the Muslims had fought with the false prophet claimer in the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So he Prophet said that in my ummah, the killer and the one who is killed, both will be entering the Jannah. So the Sahaba didn't understand, and that is basically to say that Wahshi was the one of the companion. He was the lowest level of companion in the eyes of scholars, because Prophet, when he opened Mecca, he came to Prophet, and somebody told him, go to Prophet, declare Shahada, he will forgive you. He came in and he says, I declare Shahada, la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. He opened his cover, he came with a hidden face, and Prophet says, I accept your Islam, but when I look at you, I remember my uncle, so do not sit in front of me, either sit on the side, right, or the left, so I would not see you. So that's much how his Prophet loved him, his uncle. So this is the whole situation being described. And then among the people, 1,000 people came out from Medina with the Prophet to fight, and the hypocrite leader, Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, he took 300 people away because his opinion match with the Prophet opinion that we should not leave Medina, we should stay in Medina and fight and defend Medina. But some young man who wanted to go out fight there, so he said, you didn't listen to my opinion. Even now you can see a hypocrite leader has the same opinion as Prophet, yet the Muslims youth who were excited, they wanted to be part of fight because they did not fight in the Badr, so now they wanted to show their courage and so on and so forth. So that was another emotional setback for the Muslim. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is not what you fight for. You fight for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then there was a situation where Prophet's rumor was spread that Prophet has been killed. So some people fighting without any hope and desire to live, so that if Prophet is died, we will die too. And some of them dropped the weapon and ran off, so they did not know what to do. So these all matters are being described, that Prophet was calling you and you were keep running to save yourself. Then later on, they all got together and they started fighting again. So that was a very, very unusual situation. There are a lot of details of the details in there. 70 Muslim, and actually one of the companion, he was attacked by a Muslim and he was killed by a Muslim, and his son, Prophet, offered him blood money, which I think I mentioned in one of the lectures, and he said, no, for the sake of Allah, I do not want the blood money. So but he was a Muslim, and it was killed by a Muslim because there was so chaos, such a hopelessness, such a disorganization in that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then described when they ran away after that, when the Meccan left Uhud area for after the battlefield, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent some tranquility over the people who were exhausted, and some of them were prepared, which is Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu was sent with a contingent to make sure they do not come back, and they did not think of it. But when they were trying to come back to Medina, some of them, when they arrived Mecca, and they thought of themselves, we didn't really do anything. We should have attacked Medina and we could have taken off their family and children and taken their, killed them more. And that's when they thought that, okay, we really did not win the battle. And they really did not win the battle. They just wounded Muslim because Muslims had disobeyed Prophet's command. So it's a very long description. It's a very hour-long discussion about the Battle of Uhud, and the very, very much details has been described what happened in that situation. So And there was some who were thinking, had weak thoughts that, okay, if we are with Allah and we are with the faith, why do we have to suffer? Why do we lose or get wounded or injured? God is not on our side. That happens. The thoughts comes in. But the people of the firm commitment and faith, they say it is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you win, you lose, but you do not lose faith. If Prophet died or Prophet living, you still have to carry the faith and the cause of Allah with you, because we are being assigned this job and responsibility. Let's listen to verse number 155.
إن الذين تولوا منكم يوم التقى الجمعان إنما استزلهم الشيطان ببعض ما كسبوا ولقد عفى الله عنهم إن الله غفور حليم.
Surely, those of you who turned back on the day when the two troops faced each other, Satan had but made them slip for some of their deeds. Of course, Allah has forgiven them. Certainly, Allah is most forgiving, very forbearing.
Yeah.
So this is the ayah about those people who had thoughts that why we are getting wounded or we are suffering casualties or losses, even though we are believers. And this is a message that you may win or you may lose, but the thing, success is when Muslims die, they are in paradise. They have a prophet with them, they have a faith, and Allah is promising them a victory in the world and in the hereafter. And if you lost in the world, it doesn't mean you have been abandoned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are still collected, and Allah says, we take the martyrs amongst you. And those people who have lost they were weak in their faith at that moment, and anybody can have this thought. It's the human nature, what if I'm with the faith, why am I losing, or am I being hurt, or why am I being in the loss? Islam is saying, good or bad, success or failure, hardship or ease, every situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Islam should remain with you, whether you live or die. And this is the promise, that when the disbeliever die, they are not going to heaven, and the promise is not for the martyrdom for them. So this is something we should understand, and we should have a very firm belief. If thoughts comes in, that's from shaitan, and we should say astaghfirullah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all forgiving. Allah forgive those people who had those negative thoughts, and we should not have kind of losing hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Listen to the next verse, 156.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تكونوا كالذين كفروا وقالوا لإخوانهم إذا ضربوا في الأرض أو كانوا غزا لو كانوا عندنا ما ماتوا وما قتلوا ليجعل الله ذلك حسرة في قلوبهم والله يحيي ويميت والله بما تعملون بصير.
O you who believe, do not be like those who disbelieved and said about their brethren while they traveled on the earth or had to fight, had they been with us, they would have not died, nor would they have been killed. The result is that Allah makes it remorse resting in their hearts. Allah gives life and brings death. Allah is watchful of what you do.
ولئن قتلتم في سبيل الله أو متم لمغفرة من الله ورحمة خير مما يجمعون.
If you are killed in the way of Allah, or die, the forgiveness from Allah and the mercy is far better than what they accumulate.
ولئن متم أو قتلتم لإلى الله تحشرون.
If you die or get killed, it is towards Allah that you shall be gathered.
So 156, 7, 8, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding one more thing, that even though you were in a building or in a lofty place or high towers or protected, if destiny is for your death, you will come out into that situation where the death will take over you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also describing وَلَئِن قُتُلْتُمْ fi sabilillah, if you die in the path of Allah or get killed in the path of Allah, aw muttum, or just had death, lamaghfiratu min Allah, so that you are in the forgiveness of Allah and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is better than whatever you gather in the worldly life. You can never have enough in the worldly life or forever. And then wala muttum, if you die, or qutiltum, or get killed, la ila Allah tuhsharun, in the day of judgment everybody will be gathered together. So this is a really quite a detailed description about living and dying, whether a person as a faithful person dies or is natural death or dies in the battlefield. In any situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be gathering with him and we will be given reward, and it is better reward than whatever we collect in the worldly life. So this is one of the understanding of Islamic teaching.